We're rolling. Yes.
5, 4,
Yes. Okay.
3, 2.
Hello, greetings, Massive. It's your girl, Lady Lalabella, next to the one and only
Kathy.
It's such a pleasure to have you here tonight. We are here to celebrate International Women's Month.
Yay.
And we're giving some topical themes from a female perspective on what's going on in international news around the world, as well as local in the ATL.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, Kathy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kathy. It's been a while since I've been inside the studio, so I'm so glad when Bella came with this idea. I think it was last week or the week before. We were just talking, and somehow we just ended up talking about a little bit of everything. So here we are tonight. I'm very excited for this opportunity to spend this time with Bella and talk about some very important issues within our community and in the world. Like you said, it's Women's Month. Yesterday was Women International Day. So shout out to all these beautiful, gorgeous females that make a difference in the world. And let's start. Roll.
Tell us where you're from and your relation to Caribbean culture.
So, interesting. I get this a lot. I love the Caribbean culture. I love the Jamaican music. And people always like, why are you so in love with the Jamaican music and all? And I'm like, well, let me tell you a little bit of story. I was born in Panama. My mother's Panamanian. My father's Colombian and Jamaican. So my
beautiful mix.
So my love for the culture comes from my father, his mother. I grew up with my grandmother, spent some time with her, lived with her in New York, and every single day, this lady cooked dumpling, and she loved ackee and saltfish. So I learned to eat a lot of that when I was younger, and I learned a lot of the words, the patois from
of
her
course.
And things like that, where she'll be like, you look a picnic and all this stuff. So
just a paternal grandmother is who raised you.
We spent some time with her, but she didn't raise us, but we spent some time with her.
Yes.
So it was like, that's how we kind of like really, really started like loving the culture and what it stands for and everything. So that's where my love comes from. My mother, is 100% Hispanic. She does not speak English. But that's basically my background right there. I do speak Spanish. I read it, I write it. I have no other way but to say I have to speak it. My mother speaks only Spanish. So growing up in a home where my father spoke to us in English, my mother spoke to us in Spanish, both my brother and I grew up speaking both languages, and we read it and, we understand it very well. Try to teach it to my boys, but they lost it along the way.
It's called the best of both worlds. It's called acclimating to the culture. It's called women have a great influence over the future. Yes. And it is our responsibility to at least show the way, at least have a path for them to follow. If they decide to go astray, that is on their own rapport. They were taught the right way.
Right. That's absolutely true. I agree.
So tell me about your definition of a phenomenal woman. What are some of the role models that you look up to as a Caribbean woman growing up, and how it impacted your childhood?
Bella, it's kind of tough, honestly. I came to America when I was 13. So imagine coming into a country where you come in and your skin is black, but you speak a whole different language.
Yes.
And they're like, well, you're not really black. And I'm like, yes, I am. I'm not just Black American, but I'm black. So I think growing up, I struggle with that a lot, because it's like you go to school, you don't fit here with this group, you don't fit with this other group, so you're just kind of like in the middle, and you're like, okay. And then I think it starts developing throughout the years where you're like, you know what? I'm different. I like that. Yes, I can speak another language that a lot of people don't. And I'm saying like, wait a minute, this is great. This is wonderful. So you start looking at women in just in general, not just the Caribbean, but in general, where these women that can come from India,
yes.
From Africa, Jamaica, and things like that. And it's like, they all have something that I also have.
Yes.
Our language.
Yes.
Something that we were brought up and it was rooted in us.
Yes.
So we carry that with us.
That tradition too.
Yes. So it's like, to me, that is awesome. When I see other females that can speak other languages and the way they express themselves,
beautiful.
I think it's like, oh my God, that is phenomenal. To me, that that's what makes, us different. And I think a lot of us, like I said, sometimes we were kind of afraid to speak. Like sometimes I would be shy to speak Spanish, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm just gonna speak it. Forget about it. I'm just gonna speak it. I think we have to be not afraid to be ourselves as women. Sometimes it's hard in this world. So I think a lot of us struggle with a lot of things, and I think until we start recognizing some of these things, then we become better. We become better mother, better friends, wife, sisters and daughters and things like that. So I don't think I have a particular individual that I would say, oh my God, she really, I just think it doesn't matter if you're.
It's a diverse range. It's a myriad of women.
Yes.
That was the scape that you got to look at growing up. You saw all of the different races.
Coming from a strong, background, especially with my mother, a strong woman, and the way her and I are, our relationship. Great. A lot of people's like, oh my God, you and your mother get along so well. That is my best friend. I can call my mom. If I don't call my mom today, believe me, she's calling me.
She's going to find you.
So
she's going to find you right here at APAP.
I think we all have those models in our life that we don't realize it till we get older and be like, oh, yeah, my 12th grade teacher, she was really good to me. And she helped, coming from being in the military as well. It was like, I love to see a woman in ranks, the captain, the lieutenant, the colonel. It was just like, yes, powerful women making changes, So to me, that was like something like, okay, I love this. This is what, I served in the military for 15 years. So it was like, it was something that I wanted, and it felt so good to do that. So I think there's not a particular woman. I just think there's just throughout my life, I met amazing women that done things and made changes in their life.
That's an outstanding description of what a woman means to you. And you mentioned some things. You mentioned identity, you mentioned pride, and you also mentioned representing this country in the military. Can you touch a little bit more on that and how in this new age, women aren't having as many children?
Yeah, I think even when I look at it now, and you're driving and you see a young lady with 3 or 4 kids and they're walking, you're like, why are you having, and they're like literally right behind each other. And it's like, oh my God, and you think about her life. Is she having a hard life? So why are you still bringing a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th one into this world if you can barely survive with just 1 or 2 child? So I think it has its ups and downs, its pros and cons,
And speak from a mother's perspective, because you've been there.
I have 2 boys. I have a 29-year-old and a 21-year-old, 8 years apart. So imagine that. The day I found out I was pregnant with my 2nd child, I told that lady, the nurse, I said, I need you to do another blood test because there's no way I'm pregnant. And she's like, okay. They literally did like 3 blood tests, and I did a urine test.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I did not believe I was pregnant. I was not thinking of having a 2nd child. Literally, that 1 child was enough for me. And it was like, okay, I'm pregnant again. I was like, you know what? But it's like once you feel that life inside of you,
it's a different feeling.
It's a different feeling. Yeah. So it's like, then I think about, okay, that lady with 4 kids. It's like, maybe that's what exactly happened to her. She felt that life inside of her. And she felt like she could just do it. No matter if she ended up with 6 more, she felt that life inside of her. But, nowadays.
Women are in protest.
Yeah, women are not having kids like that. They're not even getting married like that. They're, it's like everybody just, social media has taken over completely.
It has. It's a lot going on, not only on the social media, but in real dynamics. People aren't social anymore. People don't go on dates anymore. And
when was the last time you were on a date?
Oh my goodness. I would say 2024.
Stop.
2024, I went on a date. And it was not romantic.
Okay.
It was necessary to be able to eat, to sit down, to be cordial. And I find that ever since the pandemic, let's just state the obvious.
Right.
It's been difficult to have a conversation in a room with people who think differently than you, because people tend to explode when you don't have the same viewpoints as them.
Yes.
And so you just choose to social distance. We're not only social distancing because of a sickness, but we're social distancing because we can't be understood anymore. We can't have different opinions anymore. And I think it's so important even now with this conversation, creating a safe space.
Yeah,
To know
absolutely.
that women can come and talk about how they feel and not be judged for it.
Yes, because we don't know the struggle that a lot of these, young ladies been through growing up and things like that. And sometimes you don't even know the struggle some of your friends have been through, and you realize you're like, that's why she's like that, or that's why he's like that. But like you said, imagine you went out on a date, it was just not meshing up. It was just not. At what point is that?
Yeah, and I think a lot of women are feeling that their standards are high now. If a man isn't spending money to go take them overseas or take them to an expensive restaurant, then they're not giving them the time of day, which are now pushing men to maybe go overseas and find a woman who lives third world lifestyle, doesn't demand as much maintenance, is more willing to have kids.
There you go. I was just about to say that. So it's like, if we look at it, like, what is the procreation rate here in America? Are couple having kids now, or they're just saying, oh, I got to be financially stable. I got to have this much amount of money in my bank account. Oh, and it becomes like a excuse. Oh, I got to have this, and it's like you never achieve that. But you already know you don't want to have children.
Yes.
That's probably what it is. Most
Yes,
likely.
you're looking for the opportunity to not have them. So you're making, like you said, putting up these boundaries, putting up these standards to keep yourself
Yes.
from having them. And it's hard. I'm not going to lie. As a single mom raising 2 boys, it is difficult.
It is.
But is it worth it? Yes.
Absolutely.
And I also think about other young ladies coming up who might be going through the same scenario. So having safe spaces like these to be able to talk judgment free.
Oh, absolutely.
With somebody who you care about.
Yes.
Is so important. I look up to you, Kathy. I think that you do a phenomenal job. You're a career woman. You still manage to go out and support people in the promotional scene. How do you juggle it all?
The gym.
Yes, gym life.
Gym is, somebody asked me the other day, it's like, why do you go to the gym? I said, for my mental health. That's why I go.
Facts.
I don't go because I want to be, this. I go for my mental health because I think it's very important. As a woman whose kids are no longer in the home, as a grandmother, I'm by myself. And working from home, and it's like you're just going around the house in circle, and you're like, okay, what I tend to do is go to the gym, spend 30, 45 minutes every single day, and come home, and it kind of resets me. It gives me like a balance. So that's how I balance everything out. And I'm trying to cut back on the party scene.
Oh. The girls learn to have fun.
Of course, we have to.
But to your point, I find that when I go out in the party scene, the girls are dressing skimpier and skimpier. The skirts are up to here, the shirts cropped down. What do you think about the over-sensualization of our females out on the scene? They don't want to have kids. They don't want to be harassed when they're out on the road, but yet they're demanding the look of men.
Do you see the ones that like to scrape, I call it scrape the floor? I think about myself as a young woman. I think about my nieces. If I saw my niece on the dance floor, like just bareness, with those tight pum pum shorts that I call, and your cheeks just out there, and you're just dancing on this dirty floor and stuff, and you're sitting there like, what happened? Where did we go wrong? Where did we fail? As parents, sisters, cousins, and mothers, like what happened?
That's a good question. And on the flip side of that, I look at Jamaican women who are teaching women overseas to dance like this. And they're bringing these dances over into Norway and over into the Netherlands and over into, East
Korea, Japan.
Yeah, Japan, all over. And that is a form of life for them. They're able to completely change their lifestyle because of this now liberated point of view. What do you think about that in opposed to maybe how our women, melanated women, are looked at when we do that?
I wonder if it has to do with some of the black women body shape. Because you I don't know if you ever watched the Koreans or Japanese doing basically the same thing, but they're fully dressed. They're wearing like baggy pants or shirts and things, and they're dancing. They're just dancing. They're twerking as well. So why are we, as a group, because we are a group, minority group, why are we dressing like that? To what is the attention we're trying to draw? Like what is the purpose? What is it that we're trying to do? And I get that some females want to show their lovely. There's nothing wrong with that.
Agreed.
But I think there's, we have come. I don't even know if we're going back in time, regressing or what's good. But I really sit there sometimes when I go to some of these parties and I'm sitting there like, oh, interesting. Like, and I'd be like, was I ever like that when I was in my 19s and 20s? And I was like, I don't remember.
The key that you mentioned at the very beginning of our conversation was you had female role models.
Yeah.
That you looked at, not only in your teenage years, but growing up into your adolescence and adulthood. And these young women don't have that. A lot of women are absent from the household because they're now working women who have to maintain the household.
Absolutely.
And they're missing out on the fatherly figures that are necessary in order to bring that order of, you don't have to dress like that to get attention,
You don't.
baby.
I tell people that all the time. I said sometimes I could go to the grocery store, I'm not even gonna lie, with my sweatpants, my rag on and everything. And a man would still talk to me. And I'm sitting like, dude, I'm looking for a can of tomato. I don't want to see you. But and I think it has to do with how you carry yourself.
It is.
And like you said, if you grew up in a home where you had a strong mother, or you have both of your parents. I grew up with a very strict dad. When he said 6 o'clock in the house, 6 o'clock in the house, not 6:01 or 6:02. My sister was the rebellious one. She tested him one time. Oh boy, that's all it took for her. So I already knew that I was not going to test that at all.
I know that's right.
So I grew up like that, and and that's how I raised my boys as well. To like, hey, life is hard out here. I need you to be prepared and ready in case. And I'm very structured, and that's why both of my boys, when they graduated high school, they were like, college is not for them.
That was an honest response. How did you react?
I said, okay, I have another option for you, the military.
Yes.
And that oldest one was like, what? I said, yes, the military. Let me tell you something. My son now has been in the military 10 years.
Wow. And it just goes by so quick.
Go by so quick. And then the youngest one, you don't want to go to school? You're just not going to sit in the house and not. And I said, I have an option for you too. Because that second one, that one right there, yeah. So he's in the Navy now. He's getting ready to go to Japan.
Oh, congratulations.
So you have to have that.
Order.
Yes, you have to. You have to be that parent. You have to be aware of the things that are happening in the world. And you have to have these conversations with your children that are real and honest.
Yeah.
So when you have these conversations that are real and honest with your children, it becomes simple. So that's what happens. Yours are still small. And I'm pretty sure you're sitting there like looking like as time goes by, you're looking at them and you're like, oh my God, okay, I have boys, I have young men. How do I raise them?
That's so true.
Right.
That's true. That's true. And I think about that all the time. Every time I wake, it's something that immediately comes to mind. Having discipline and structure from the time that they're young, straight up until they get older, is the key to how to make them into responsible adults.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my next topic. Yes, we want structure. Yes, we want order. And sometimes we can hold on to them a little bit too tight.
Oh,
Do you think that as Caribbean parents growing up in that kind of household with all of these different influences, immigrant parents in general,
Right.
I think that they are more strict.
Oh, yeah.
They do have higher expectations. They do want you to go to school and pursue the highest level of education. But for those who fall astray from that, do you think that maybe the reins are a little bit too tight and that can cause them to be led astray?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's, like you said, there's nothing wrong with structure and having order. But I think when you kind of like, it's like putting them in a jail cell, and they're only limited to do certain things. So when they actually go out into the real world, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to try this for the first time. I'm going to do this. And they get lost, because we were so concerned to keep them away from what's outside.
Yes.
We didn't teach them the tools, the things that they needed in order to go out there into the real world and survive. And that's always been my biggest thing with my boys. Like, if something happened to me right now and my parents, weren't around either, I need my boys to be survival, to learn how to survive out here.
Yes.
on their own. I don't need them knocking on the door. Anybody say, hey, I need your help. I need them to do this on their own. So that was always my thing, like, make sure you're good. Make sure you can take care of yourself so nobody else has to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Take care of you. So it's very important. But I think as Caribbean parents, one of my best friends, she's Jamaican. And I remember one day, she was wearing a toe earring. And we went to one of our other Jamaican friend's house, and her mom was there. Oh, my God. That lady had a... like,
Fit.
because she saw the toe ring, and she was like, that's not good, that's evil. And we're sitting there like, God, lady, we're like 19, we're 18 years, like, what the heck is she?
It's a new age.
Yeah, and she's a old Jamaican lady, but she was saying that that's not acceptable and all this stuff. I can't remember what religion. What's that one religion that a lot of Jamaicans, 7-day
Adventist?
Yes. So she was so judgy, and she tried to raise her daughter within
In that same kind of mindset.
But what happened? The minute that girl left that house,
She
was
broke out.
loose. Yes. So you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you can try to, but that minute that kid goes out that door and just like experiencing things, it's like, oh, I can do this because mom is not watching.
And it also comes down to what they're witnessing. If they see you talking about other people's business and gossiping, they're not going to take what you have to say seriously.
Yeah, like, Mom, you was sitting there just talking about your sister, your brothers, and there, and you want to give me a class on, you don't want to listen to that.
Yes, and it doesn't just go for our young ladies. This also goes for our young men. We're looking at the diaspora at large. So when we look at what young boys are having to be exposed to from a young age, as well as being led astray, it's also causing them to later come out in life and say they were abused or they were put in a position that was compromised.
Yeah.
And it can lead to stories where these highty-tighty people who live in these big houses, especially in the islands, my dear, their children are the main ones who are being trafficked or being put in a position of danger.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. But I think you even see it here. My oldest one graduated from Johns Creek. And, the majority of those people in the area, they come from money. And he went to a party one day. And when he gets home, he's like, Mom, those kids, they had cocaine in there.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, there was, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, where? He's like, the parents were in the basement the whole time.
Substance abuse is a problem in these families because it's just available. It's there. It's in the medicine cabinet. So
the pills. It becomes like and you sit there like, oh my gosh, and you watch the news, and these young teens, like you said, not just women but males, committing suicide because they're only 15 and 16. They're committing suicide because they feel like they have a heart or they feel they can't express themselves.
They're unaliving themselves.
And it's very, very sad. And it's coming to get like younger and younger, 12 years old, 13 years old, where some of them are confused as to who they are.
Mm-hmm. That identity, it's coming up again. And across the Caribbean, it's not just about color, it's also about classism as well. But in classism, I think color does play a role. Do you want to touch a little bit about the effects of light skin versus dark skin across the diaspora?
Yeah. I never understood that. I think, I'm not saying Panama is not racist, but it's
colorist.
You don't see it as much as you see it here in the U.S. Over there, it's more like status, like where your family comes from, and if you have. But for me here, when I came here, like I said, I never knew what, this whole discrimination and racist thing was till I got here, and it's like, oh, now I'm put in a box, and it's like, oh, you too black, or you too, my oldest one is very bright, and he came home one day when he was little, and he was like, the little girl was passing her birthday invitation out through the class, dark-skinned little girl, and she didn't give him one because she said he was too white. When I tell you that broke my heart, I wanted to cry for my child. I was like, the nerves of this little girl to
But she learned that, unfortunately.
Yes. So it's like,
those are
she
learned
learned that
behaviors.
from where? Where did she learn that from?
Those are learned behaviors. It could be in the household, could be from media. It could be, her growing up reading certain books, playing with certain dolls. all of that can play into the mindset. And it's unfortunate that we have to, like you say, reprogram our kids.
Yeah.
Because of what's going on in the outside world.
Yeah, the man that want to date the white woman or the Asian ones or
Interracial dating is quite popular.
dating. You know, I had a female ask me if I had an issue with my son marrying a Japanese woman. She said, how can you stand for that? I said, one thing I wanted to teach my kids not to be racist because of the color of anybody's skin. I wanted them to, if this is who you love, this is who you love. Whether she's black, green, purple, whatever she is. As long as they treat my children right, I'm fine with it. So I never wanted them to be like, you're only supposed to date the black girls.
Yes.
Because your mama is black.
But love has no orientation.
like,
It could be towards who you are most attracted to, who you care for the most. And as long as love is in the household, I think that that's a great stepping stone.
It is.
As to
Do you
what-
have a preference? You don't have a preference.
I don't have a preference. I just want my kids to be happy. I want them to be healthy. I want the best for them, and I'm going to put them through different scenarios because you have to be willing to test your kids and challenge them so that they can grow and be stronger. So this conversation has been so refreshing. It's been an amazing time with you, Kathy. Kathy, please drop all your social media handles. Let the people know where to find you, Miguel.
Hey guys, you can find me on Facebook, Kathy, or you can find me on Instagram, Kathy0923. Please check it out and hope to see you guys next time.
Hope you guys have enjoyed this chat. It's International Women's Month. It's your girl, Lady Lalabella, here in APAP Studios. It's been a pleasure. Have a good night.